Getting it hard away. Southern T back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor, y'all. Smash that like button for your boy. Let me sound check. Smash that like button for you. Alright. When you roll on in, whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If it's your first time, do your boy a solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button as well. We talk this good boxing, MMA, sports, parlays, predictions every single day and not just today. Right. So I'm gonna give you a little news that you could use on this video. Right before we get into it. So I had made Israel and Lara versus Janabek. Go on, baby. I had made Israel and Lara versus, versus Janabek video earlier this week, right? I also made Pitbull versus Lamont Roach fight breakdown and prediction video earlier this week, right? So, go check that Lamont Roach and Pitbull Cruz fight breakdown and prediction video out. It's on my page. But Lara and Janabek, that fight has been canceled. Janabek popped dirty for a banned substance. All right, I have the name, but it's passing me right now. But Janabek popped dirty for a banned substance, so that fight will not be happening because Janabek is a steroid user, right? So a replacement opponent has been picked. Johan Gonzalez will be fighting Lara for Lara's title this Saturday. Gonzalez is coming out his win over Jared Hurd, right? Gonzalez lost to Telez last year, and he lost to Jesus Ramos last year. Just beat Jared Hurd, so he's fighting Lara. For context, Jared Hurd beat Lara back in the day, right? So that's kind of how that plays out as far as that goes, right? So, you know, he beat a guy that beat Lara, right? So Janabek pops dirty. In comes Johan Gonzalez, right? So we did lose a fight. We did lose a fight on the card, which was Janabek and Lara, because you know Janabek is a steroid user, right? So now that we got that part out the way, right? Now that we got that part out the way, we can go ahead and get into the main thing, man. We got O'Shaquie Foster facing off with CoolBoy Step. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. If you know me, you know. This is how I know who really know. Because if you know me, you know. CoolBoy is one of my favorite fighters, in the game, right? And if you know, you know. Me and O'Shaquie follow one another on Twitter. Me and O'Shaquie been following each other on Twitter for a long time, years before O'Shaquie was even as big as he is now. When O'Shaquie was still in the streets, you know what I mean. Me and O'Shaquie have been friends on Twitter. O'Shaquie is my very, very first Twitter subscriber. Go look at my page. The first person that subscribed, the first person that followed me on Twitter is O'Shaquie Foster. CoolBoy don't even follow me on Twitter, but CoolBoy, he likes some of my stuff and whatnot before, right? But O'Shaquie is literally the first person to follow me on Twitter, by the way. So I digress. So man, I honestly feel like this is the main event of the weekend. I said this before. I said this before. Right. This is the main event for me this weekend. Now it has been bumped up to the co-main. It was the third fight. They had Janabek and Lara in front of this fight, but now this is the co-main, right? And I feel like this is really the main event. You know what I mean? I feel like this is the biggest fight on the card. If we're going two fighters together, these are probably the two most accomplished fighters together. Lamont Roach is a champion. Pitbull Cruz has been a champion. Yes. You had Janabek, who's a champion. Lara is probably the most accomplished fighter on the card, right? Just him solely, right? But both of them, O'Shaquie, two-time champion, uh, CoolBoy, two division champion, right? Unified champion, right? So, just on paper, resume wise, this is the most, you know, this is the I think on paper, this is the most as far as accolades go between the two fighters. This is the best fight, and I believe skill wise, style wise, competitiveness wise, matchup wise, inside of the ring as well. This is the best fight of the weekend. So this is my fight of the week. This is my main event, which is why I did this one last, and which is why I'm still rumbling, beating around the bush, and I ain't gotten to the breakdown and gave y'all an answer yet because, bro, this is the hardest. You know, I made some jokes on the other videos, right? Man, I could say this is the hardest fight I had to pick. You know what I mean? About a few fights this week. This is literally the hardest fight that I had to pick. You know what I mean? Literally the hardest fight that I had to pick. We got Oshaka Foster 23-3 with 12 KOs. Now you see the three losses with Oshaka Foster, and each of his losses, you know, I'm not making excuses for him, right? But two of his losses came when he had 1 foot in and 1 foot out, right? He was halfway boxing and halfway in the street, still doing his thing, right? You know what I mean? So he took two losses when he was undisciplined. He does still have two losses, right? Uh, against Samuel T, who you might know, and then he lost to Rolando China, right? So he took two losses when he was still, you know, in and out of jail, still in the streets and whatnot, still deciding if he really wanted to do this boxing thing, right? Because he's a storied amateur. People forget, like Shaq Foster was one of the best amateurs coming up, but his, you know, he kind of veered off into other things, right? But you know, went on a crazy win streak. I almost say like what 15 fight win streak, something like this, 15, 16 fight win streak. And then he lost a split decision to Robson Conseca. Now, if you saw that fight, his third loss, right? I'm putting the losses into context for you for Shake. I'm excited about this fight, y'all. If y'all ain't, if y'all ain't figured out, if y'all ain't figured out, man, I'm excited about this one, right? You know what I mean? But you know, if you watch that Robson Conceição fight with O'Shaquie Foster, right? Like most people, I mean, I think I think O'Shaquie won that fight. Like I'm not really sure how, you know, they even gave it to Robson. I feel like O'Shea Foster outboxed Robson for a good portion of that fight. And I'm a Robson Conceição fan, right? You know what I mean? I was pulling for Robson Conceição to be Oscar Valdez, right? So I'm team, you know what I mean, Robson Conceição, but I don't feel like Robson Conceição beat O'Shea Foster, you know, that first time. And then O'Shea Foster came back and won the split decision the second time. I feel like O'Shea Foster might have won the first fight more clear than he won the second fight, right? But they gave him his win the second time, right? I feel like he shouldn't have lost the first one. If I'm just being, you know, real with you, right? So his losses are very controversial, right? He earned the first two, but he had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That wasn't the best version of him. The one with Robson Conceição, don't really know how he lost it, which you know because he really won it. If you're asking me, right? But Robson Conceição was his last fight. Split decision win, split decision loss to Robson. Split decision win over Abraham Nova in the fight before that. Knocked out Eduardo Hernandez. That's a fight where, you know, or actually, I can't even say, I don't even got to say think, right? He was losing that fight on the cards, right? Now, I thought the cards were a little funny, right? But he was losing that fight on the cards. He ended up getting the knockout in the last round and winning that fight. Showed a lot, you know, of grit and wherewithal from O'Shaq Foster, right? So he's never going to quit on himself. And then you got the Ray Vargas fight. He just completely undressed Ray Vargas, just completely outboxed him, made him look simple. You know what I mean? Made him look simple. And I picked him to win that fight against Ray, but I did not think he was going to win that fight that easy as he wanted. Did not think he was going to UD, you know, Ray Vargas like that. So, you know, Oshaki has, you know, some nice wins on his resume at 23-3, right, with 12 KOs, and I think a little bit of those, a couple of those, I think at least one of those losses for sure he won the fight, and then you know the early losses was you know 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's taking on CoolBoy Fulton, who I think is a Hall of Famer right now, who I think is one of the best fighters of this generation right now, who I will put up against a lot of fighters in any generation right now. You know what I mean? If he wins this Oshaki Foster fight, he's gonna be a 3 division champion, and then there ain't gonna be, you know, no argument, no puts, no puts, buts, or anything when it comes to the resume and standard of CoolBoy Fulton. If he wins this fight, right? But I think this is one of the best fighters, of my generation of in the game right now. Scooter, CoolBoy, 23-1, 8 KOs, been stopped once. Right, my bad. 5'6" with a 70-inch arm reach is CoolBoy. Right, and O'Shaquie Foster's arm reach is because I didn't tell y'all O'Shaquie's arm reach, right? O'Shaquie's arm reach, he's 5'8", 72. Right, so O'Shaquie Foster has a 2-inch reach advantage on CoolBoy, who's 5'6" with a 70.5-inch reach. So CoolBoy's giving up a little size. Scalematic, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, man? Appreciate you sliding through this jump, bro. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy when you slide through. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, you're making to do what you do. Glad you came through. Hit that thumbs up when you come into the room. Man. Greatly appreciate. Shout out my guy Skills, my girl Millie, my guy MP. What the fuck? My guy Ray Buck. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through. We breaking down. This is my favorite fight of the week. Right. So I'm gonna take the longest. I'm gonna take the longest on this one. Sound check. Yeah, so I'm gonna take the longest on this one, man. You know what I mean? Because I'm still kind of, I feel like I know who I want to pick, right? But man, this is such a good fight, bro. You just, I'm trying to just crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's. So I'm making my decision live with this, right? I say, you know what, I'm just gonna crank it up because if I wait to come up with a decision, I ain't never gonna pick one. So I gotta put the pressure of the live up here, right? For me to really, really make my decision and really break this thing down the right way, right? So I digress, man. Let's go and get into it, man. So Shaq Foster has a 2-inch arm reach over Scooter, right? So we got Stephon Fulton, 23-1, 8 KOs. He's coming off a win over Brandon Figueroa, a unanimous decision win over Brandon Figueroa. Made it look easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The first fight looked a lot harder between Brandon Figueroa. This fight looked like Brandon didn't even belong in the ring with CoolBoy. CoolBoy damn near 12 older, 11-1, something like that. If you gave Figueroa more than about 3 rounds, then I'm gonna have to look at you a little funny, right? But Scooter dominated. And then he had a split decision against Carlos Castro, uh which was his first fight after the New Way loss, right? So he went CoolBoy resume, nasty man. Isak Izala, Arnold Keegan, Angelo Leo, Brandon Figueroa, Daniel Romain, lost to CoolBoy, Carlos Castro, Brandon Figueroa again, and now he has O'Shaquie Foster standing in his way, man. Okay, so O'Shaquie Foster versus CoolBoy Fulton. Okay, y'all. So I do think this is going to be a boxing match, right? First and foremost, I do think the skill. I don't think anybody's going to get knocked out, right? So for my bettors, if you're asking me, is it going the distance? It's not going the distance. I do think it's going the distance. I don't think either of these guys are going to knock the other one out. I don't think either of these guys are going to knock the other one out. CoolBoy, is a tough dude, right? He took, anyway, didn't knock him out. It was a TKO stoppage, right? He got stopped on his feet. Anyway, knocked him down. He got up, the ref stopped him, right? So he does, he does have, a chin. He is durable. Now, Foster does have some knockouts. His most recent knockout came in the 12th round at the bell, right? I don't personally see the way O'Shaquie Foster knocked you out is if he could, he has a lot of skill, a lot of class, high class, right? If he can outclass you, outskill you, and then he accumulates his punches. He does have one shot knockout power too, right? He does have one. He does have game changing power, right? I won't say one shot knockout power, even though he does have a one shot knockout on his resume. He has fight changing power for sure. If he can land one, he can knock you silly enough to be able to knock you out with that second or that third, right? Has real power, I should say, right? So Foster does have real power, but he's not a knockout puncher, right? He's not a guy that's going in there seeking the KOs, right? He has 26 fights and he has 12 knockouts. Pretty good ratio, but under 50%, right? So there's more than a 50% chance that you'll go the distance with O'Shaquie Foster. I don't think a knockout is going to happen in this fight. by either fighter because of the skill level of both, the experience of both, because of who both fighters are. Because of who both fighters are, right? High level fight. So I don't think anybody's going to get knocked out. I think it's going to be a boxing match. Do I trust the skills of CoolBoy, or do I trust the skills of O'Shaquie Foster in this fight? I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. This is hard, man. This is extremely hard because I will say this. Is I think CoolBoy has the higher IQ in this, right? I think CoolBoy has a slightly higher IQ. I think O'Shaquie Foster is slightly more dangerous, right? I think CoolBoy is the boxer with the higher IQ, but I think O'Shaquie Foster is the more dangerous fighter in this. If a fight changing shot was going to happen, it would come from O'Shaquie Foster. But I've seen CoolBoy, going there with guys who I thought could make it, a close fight, and CoolBoy just straight up schooled them. You know what I mean? This happened a few times with CoolBoy, right? Now I picked him to be anyway, and we all know what happened, right? But got to give anyway huge respect, especially after that one. That was the one where I gave him anyway. No, I don't doubt anyway no more because what he did to CoolBoy, who I rate extremely high. You know what I mean? But I don't necessarily see Foster being able to buzz CoolBoy out of there. You know what I mean? Like that. So it gets interesting for me, man. This is a tough fight. It's going the distance, right? That's my bet, y'all. This fight is going the distance, right? Take the over, take the go. That's my bet for my betters. I'm taking it to go the distance, right? I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Whoever the underdog is in this fight, bruh, that is crazy. Ain't no underdog right now. It's like even now. It's CoolBoy started as the slight dog, but now he's kind of going to the favorite. By the time the fight start, more money go come in on CoolBoy, right? That's the betting aspect of it. But my fight pick, man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna go CoolBoy, man. I'm gonna go CoolBoy. Damn, I'm shocked, man. Man, that is tough because look, I want to take CoolBoy, but then again, I'm like, you know, honestly, y'all fuck it. Your guess is good as mine. Fuck it. Who we got? Now I'm just playing over. I'm gonna go with CoolBoy, y'all. Low confidence. Low confidence, CoolBoy, man. Low confidence, CoolBoy. And it's not low confidence because I don't believe in CoolBoy, but on Shaq and Foster, but that's a bad motherfucker, man. I would not be surprised if he won this fight. I would not. This is gonna be a good goddamn fight. This is gonna be a good goddamn fight. This is a real fight right here, man. So I'm gonna go CoolBoy, y'all. But don't bet the side. Don't pick a winner in this because you don't know who gonna win this goddamn fight. Nobody does. Nobody knows who's gonna win this fight. We just being honest with ourselves. Nobody knows, and we don't know who gonna win any fight, right? But fights like this, nobody really knows until it happens, man. Nobody really knows. But I'm gonna go with I side with CoolBoy for video purposes, but it's not nothing concrete on either side where I'm just like, yeah, they go. It's like it's I'm not there with this fight. I really don't know. I don't know. It's going the distance is my most confident pick. Like that's the thing I can tell you for sure though. Right. If you was gonna bet the house on something, I say bet the house on it to go the distance. Don't pick this fight. Don't pick this fight to don't pick this fight, to bet the house on, right? Because you might lose your bet. Like it's gonna be a good goddamn fight. Though. This is the main event for me. It's now the real co-main event, but this is the main event fight for me. Uh, okay, so man, what does CoolBoy? CoolBoy jabs well, man. He's pretty good. Oh, you know what, y'all? You know what, y'all? You know what, y'all? O'Shaquie Foster is plus 100. I'm gonna go with O'Shaquie Foster, y'all. I got Foster. I got Foster. I'm gonna go with Foster, y'all. I'm gonna go with Foster, y'all. I'm picking against. I'm picking against my favorite fighter right now. I hate these guys. I don't hate these guys, right? It's kind of like Devin and Norman for me, right? Yeah, I got O'Shaquie, man. I got O'Shaquie. I'm gonna take O'Shaquie in this, man. Damn, I can't believe I just picked against CoolBoy. That's a first. That's a first right there. Yeah, man, I got O'Shaq. I'm gonna take O'Shaq and Foster in this, bro. I don't know why. I honestly don't. Okay. So I'm guessing CoolBoy could go in here and outbox O'Shaquie. Man, I don't fucking know, y'all. I don't fucking know. Oh shit. This is gonna be a really good fucking fight Saturday, bro. And the crazy part is I might miss it. I'm gonna have to be on somebody else's watch party, so I might miss it. But man, I'm gonna take O'Shaquie, y'all. I'm gonna take O'Shaquie, y'all. I think at range, because CoolBoy likes to fight a little more on the inside now, right? And if O'Shaquie could land, if he could get those hooks off, maybe I could see a scenario. I see it's going to. I see a scenario where CoolBoy goes in there, bro, and he just shows his level, right? And I see a scenario where it's back and forth early, and then maybe CoolBoy uses a lot of energy early, and it's the emotions of it and everything. It gives O'Shaq a bit of more of a chance on the back end. Because I think earlier for sure. I think earlier is going to be advantage Scooter, right? Because I think O'Shaq is going to have to. He's not the quickest starter anyway, right? So that's really why initially I have CoolBoy, right? Y'all just heard me, but O'Shaq is the dog. O'Shaq is the underdog in this, right, man? Both dogs. The fight going the distance. That's my bet, right? Give me O'Shaq, man. I'm gonna take O'Shaq for the win, man. I'm not overly confident in it. Right? Not overly confident, but I got O'Shaq for the win, man. O'Shaq for the win. I'm picking against my favorite fighter, was CoolBoy, Scooter, CoolBoy, Stephon Fulton. Right? Never did that in my life. Never. I picked Scooter over anyway. By the way, y'all. And now I'm taking O'Shaq and Foster to beat Scooter. Crazy world we live in. But man, I digress. That's all I got for y'all, man. Skin the hard way, Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. This the present. That's how we rock it. And I'm out. Look.